Can you explain?
Well, one of the easy things you can do, the Romans were the first. If you get your hand like that, and if you put the sun on your thumb, your other finger indicates one more hour. So the Romans, they used to go, that's 2 hours. So when the sun is there, it will be 2 hours later. And by that they could navigate and tell where they were going. And that is now, this is, there's 1 hour and 2 hours. It's not quite correct, but that is because there is a complicated thing. The Earth does not go round the sun in a circle. We go round in an ellipse.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the Earth's axis is doing this. So there is a complicated curve called the equation of time. And the equation of time is the variation between clock time and sun time. So just because you're reading that, it says about, I don't know, not quite 2 o'clock, it's about 20 minutes short. Yeah, that is due to the equation of time, plus that is not accurate, because as I explained, in those ancient times they didn't understand the equation of time, and they also didn't, they divided everything equally, and it isn't. So it was more complicated. But for them, they weren't interested in knowing the time like we do. They were more interested when the shadow point is there, as I explained earlier, do we have to go to prayer? Do we have to wash? Do we have to eat? And that was important to them. Or, as I said, the solstice and the equinox, those circles, yeah? So when the shadow is there, that is, when that shadow is only to there, that is the summer solstice. That's when the sun is at its highest. And then when that tip of that shadow is there, that is the winter solstice, when the sun is at its lowest. And then that one there is the equinox, when the day and the night are the same length, nearly, for them. For them it was accurate enough. And the most important thing for these monks that lived here, it was important in their culture apparently, so our friends found out, to know when to eat at lunchtime. So that was the important thing for them in their culture. So they would use this shadow and think, I only have a short time left before I have to go to eat, or we meet to eat, or we meet for prayers. And in England we have the same thing on churches that go back over 1,000 years, that told people in the village not the time, but when the shadow gets to there, we all have to go for prayers in the morning, and then when it gets to there, we have to go for prayers in the evening. And that's all they used it for. So that, the real one that you've got in the museum, is priceless, because no one has ever found another one in Sri Lanka the same. So it's priceless. You know, it has to be looked after. But our friends, when we get back, before we leave, you give us your email address and your name, because then